Let us close the eyes for a moment. We'll pray to God and Masters. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May God protect us all. May God nourish us with wisdom and knowledge. May we meditate and pray together. May there be no discord among us. May there be more love and peace within and everywhere. I humbly bow to one formless God. I bow to all the saints and sages and Sage Patanjali. I bow to lineage of Kriya Yoga Masters. And I bow to living presence of God in each one of you. Om. Amen. Good afternoon and welcome to the third lecture of this series, Yoga Sutra of Sage Patanjali. In our previous class, we had discussed the sutras where Sage Patanjali has explained how to regulate our mind. Now, in this class, we will discuss Sutra number 30, 31, and 32 from the first book, Samadhipada. Spiritual life is not easy life. It is path of discipline. In Kathopanishad, there is a mantra which says, Kshurasya dhara nishita duratyaya durgam patha tat kavayo vadanti. This spiritual path is very difficult to tread on, and this path is like walking on the double-edged sword. Also in the Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, 3rd verse, Lord Krishna has said, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhai yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tattvataha. Among thousands of people, rarely one tries to attain perfection or realization. And among those who are trying, very few continue their path, and hardly one or maybe few people are successful to attain the goal of their spiritual path, that is realization. So it is not easy path. And when we talk about meditation, meditation is also not easy. To close the eyes, go within and do self-inquiry. That is why Sage Patanjali has mentioned that when we meditate, when we follow this path of Kriya Yoga, there are obstacles, and it is quite natural because nothing is smooth in life. We have to face challenges, we have to face obstacles, and this is the strength to test whether we are really ready for this path or not. So in the Sutra number 30, Sage Patanjali is now telling about the obstacles on the path of yoga. So this sutra says, Vyadhi, Sthana, Samshaya, Pramada, Alasya, Avirati, Bhranti Darshana, Alabdha Bhumikatva, Anavasthit Tattvani, Chitta Vikshepaha, Te Antarayaha. व्याधि स्त्यान संशय प्रमादालस्य अविरति भ्रांति दर्शन अलब्ध भूमिकत्व अनवस्थितत्वानि चित्त विक्षेपः अंतरयः चित्त विक्षेपः. These are the obstacles, inner obstacles on the path. What are the obstacles? So 9 obstacles are mentioned by Sage Patanjali here. They are vyadhi, means sickness; sthana, mental laziness; sanshaya, sanshaya means doubt; pramada is confusion; and avirati, alasya. Fifth is alasya. Alasya means sloth or physical laziness. Avirati, avirati means craving for sense pleasure. Bhranti darshana, false perception or delusion. Alabdha bhumikatva. Alabdha bhumikatva means despair caused by failure in concentrating. Then comes anavasthita tattva. That means instability. So these are the 9 obstacles a seeker faces on the path of yoga. Some people face one or two, some people may face most of these, some people face maybe all of these. It depends, but these are the obstacles which are always there, and there is no escape from this. But the beauty is that obstacles are there, and we should first understand the obstacles. If we understand what are these obstacles, then it becomes easy to overcome these obstacles. Shri Lahiri Mahasaya said he categorized these as the disease, laziness, and vyadhi, sthana. So he said these 9 are disease, then laziness, lack of interest, then he said doubt, confusion, sloth, and this sloth is due to heaviness of body and mind, which creates lack of interest in practicing yoga, that is physical laziness. And 6th is avirati, that is craving for sense pleasures. That means especially when the mind is not tuned to yoga, then it goes to enjoy the worldly objects again and again. And then 7th is false perception while meditating or practicing yoga. Then not attaining concentration, that means not going towards the samadhi. Then last 9th is instability. And it is perhaps even attaining a state but not able to maintain it. Or you can say not able to maintain the steadiness of memory. So these are the obstacles. Now we will discuss a little bit more what are these obstacles and how we can overcome them. So Sage Patanjali is telling very clearly, has outlined these obstacles on the path of spirituality. So first is called disease. What is disease? Disease is a state of disharmony in body and mind. The physical diseases are caused by the disequilibrium of 3 humors or elements. We call it dosha in Ayurveda. And this is in the body. There are 3 humors, which is known as vata, pitta, and kapha. So vata means wind, pitta is the bile, kapha means phlegm. These 3, they are in harmony in the human body. When there is disturbance of this equilibrium, or one of these 3 elements, when they are in excess or deficiency, then there is some physical disease occurring in the body as per Ayurveda. So disease is also due to malfunction of glands and irregular habits sometimes. This is physical, but the disease can also be mental, and many people also suffer from mental diseases, restless minds, extrovert nature, imbalanced processes of thinking, and depressive or dejected thoughts. They bring forward psychological trouble. So anxiety, depression, all these are mental diseases. A yogi, through yogic exercises, breathing technique, and a God conscious lifestyle, tries to eradicate these impediments. Always remember, no higher goal can be achieved through diseased body and sick mind. So we need to have both in perfect shape. It is said in Mundaka Upanishad, "Na ayam atma balahinena labhyah." If we are not strong enough physically and mentally, we cannot attain self-realization. So in short, we can say the causes for vyadhi or disease are imbalance or improper diet sometimes, undisciplined lifestyle, and sometimes diseases come because of our past karma, which is known as prarabdha or destiny. So there are two: physical diseases, mental diseases, and both diseases are caused because of one of these three reasons: improper diet, imbalanced diet, or undisciplined lifestyle, and destiny. So we treat them. What is the remedy? Proper and balanced diet. This is most important because in the present time, our food is not pure food. It is more chemicals we are eating. So our body as well as mind both are getting affected. Second thing, we should get up early morning. We should go to bed early. All our lifestyle, our day-to-day activities also should be disciplined. If we sleep too late at night and don't get up in the morning, so naturally our body will be more heavy, not conducive for meditation practices. Too much of exertion, too much of physical work also makes you tired and you cannot meditate. Also increase willpower through your spiritual practice so that you can overcome the diseases. Then we come to the next obstacle, that is called laziness. Laziness means lack of interest and inability to pursue one's work continuously. Sri Lahiri Mahasaya emphasized keeping the goal of life always vibrant in every moment of our existence. Whatever we do, we should always remember and remind ourselves the goal of our life, because when we forget, then we become lazy. And this laziness is mental laziness. Dhyana is related to mind. Through practice of prana kriya, that means through practice of kriya pranayama, this mental laziness can be overcome. This is Sri Lahiri Mahasaya said. Very often in our life, we set our intention to meditate regularly, but our practice ends up getting tossed aside for more important things. We often feel like there are a million other things we need to do before we have time for our meditation. So the key here is prioritizing meditation by working on our perception of it. If we view meditation as the core part of our routine, like brushing the teeth, taking a shower, then missing meditation is no longer an option. We go through a routine to prepare our physical bodies for the day. So why not have one routine for our minds as well, that is meditation. We often complain that we do not have time to practice due to family responsibilities and work culture. But we have only 24 hours every day, and we have to manage all activities within this time limit to avoid stress. How do you make time when you have to catch early morning flight? Just think about it. At that time, there is no excuse. We have to catch the flight, otherwise we miss it. So also, meditation should become our priority. Then only we'll proceed or progress. Otherwise, mind does not want to meditate, mind doesn't want any discipline. So mind creates excuses, or mind tries to distract us, and we start procrastinating. So mental laziness we can overcome. This is the second obstacle in our spiritual path. So what is the remedy for mental laziness? It is caused by procrastination. And why it happens? Because this mental laziness we feel very often because of the tamasic nature. And tamasic quality is predominant only when we have tamasic food, or our activities, thought patterns, they are more like not conducive for the spiritual progress. So this is the inertia of mind. However, to overcome mental laziness, we need to practice more yogasana and pranayama. That means physical exercise is needed for that. For that reason, we also do Mahamudra. So if you cannot do yogasana and pranayam, then you should do some physical activities like brisk walking or gardening. You have to exert your body. Otherwise, it becomes inert and more mental laziness. Okay, I'll do tomorrow, I'll do next time, and so on. So practice pranayam, practice some physical activities, exercises that will help you to overcome this problem. Then the next one is doubt. This is also very important, because when we start our spiritual journey, we must inquire properly what we are supposed to do, where we are going, who is our guru. Very often people get initiated and then they ask that, how can I find my guru? So you already have found, but still after accepting someone as master, after accepting a technique or a path, then people start doubting. So this doubt is the biggest enemy. Mind is always doubtful. Because if you remember the definition of mind in the Tattva Bodha, as Adi Shankara has explained, Sanshayatmakaha manaha. Mind is a doubting faculty. So it is the nature of mind. And we have to go beyond this play of mind. Doubt brings stagnation in spiritual life, because we cannot move further. And what type of doubt comes? Can I reach the goal? Is it the right path for me? Or sometimes, what is the use of such practice if I'm not progressing? If I cannot reach really my goal, what shall I do? So these type of thoughts, they create inner discouragement. And this is where doubt stops us in our spiritual practice. Once we accept something, never doubt. Before accepting, do proper inquiry, do whatever you want. But once you accept a path, a teacher, or any practice, or anything in life, once you accept it, accept 100%, and without any doubt, just practice it and you will see the result. What should we do if we have doubt? So in case of doubt, what we can practice, opposite to doubt is called faith. So if we have faith, then there will be no doubt. So to overcome this samshaya, even in Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, verse number 40, Lord Krishna has said, Samshayatma vinashyati. A person devoid of faith goes to downfall. So faith is the element which we have to inculcate in our practice, in our life. What are the causes for doubt? One is lack of knowledge of duties as a seeker. Suppose we start a path. So now it is our duty to practice every day what we have promised or what we have decided. But if we do not have this knowledge of duty, that it is my moral duty to practice, then doubt will definitely come. A lack of surrender. We accept, but we are not able to accept in reality. Only on face value we accept. So there is lack of surrender. And surrender comes only once we have faith, because faith is transformed into surrender. Sometimes it is the weak power of discrimination, viveka. So we are not using our discriminative power, like what is reality, what is unreality. And then doubt comes and we are confused, we are not able to move. So what is the remedy for doubt? Keep good company. Because when you live in the company of the people who are like-minded, you are always inspired and you get your doubts cleared, clarified by them. Service to the teacher. So anytime if you have any doubt, it is always good to have the consultation with the teacher, that I am feeling like this or I'm thinking like this. What should I do? So teacher will help you. And for that you have to remain in company of the teacher, in the good company of your fellow beings. Third is study of scripture will also help you, because scriptures also clarify many of our doubts and they keep us on our track. So we continuously cultivate this element of faith. It is very interesting that in our life, we have faith in many things. But when the question comes about the spiritual practice, then we doubt. However, so the fourth uh, obstacle is called confusion. Confusion, what is this confusion? Confusion, it is the confusion within. And because of this confusion, a person develops carelessness. When you are not clear about the goal, practice, or teacher, or whatever you have followed, then you become careless. So this confusion is the state of lack of interest. Good company brings regular inspiration, as I told you. Practice of pranayam helps to keep the mind steady and clear also. Many people do window shopping in spiritual life, thinking that they would learn more from different sources, but it creates more confusion, because each teacher has different way of explanation or interpretation. So then it starts, oh, these statements are contradicting, but they are not contradicting, they are complementary. So it is our confusion which is creating trouble, and best way is not to go from person to person, from one path to other path. Follow at least one, just one, and you will be able to reach the goal. Because the more you study, the more study in the sense that nowadays on internet or many external sources, and it creates more confusion rather than guidance. So follow your own teacher is the best advice if you want to remain free from any confusion. So this is the fourth obstacle, confusion, which is called pramada. Pramad also means carelessness or negligence, that we know what we are supposed to do, but we are not doing it because of our confused state of mind. Normal or usual causes for pramada or confusion is a mistake of taking spiritual practice and daily routines separate. This is also one of the cause. That very often we think that worldly life is different and spiritual life is different, but it is not true really. Those who practice Kriya Yoga, they are taught from the day one the principle or basic principle of Kriya, Kriya. Means in every activity of life, we have to bring divinity. We have to feel presence of divine in each activity. So living in the world, we are living consciously and we are living a divine life. So this is the way to avoid any confusion. We are always remaining in God consciousness. When we take these two separate, then confusion starts, that maybe this is not for me, or what should I do when I'm in the office? when I'm in the meditation hall, that at that time I'm fine. But when I'm working in the office, then this pramada, carelessness, negligence comes. Oh, I have to pay more attention to my duty. So we have to balance, and bringing balance in life, best way is to live a conscious life. And there are techniques which are taught in Kriya Yoga to keep you always conscious in every action, feeling presence of divine. The remedy for carelessness is good company also, and practice of pranayam, practice of more breath regulation. It will keep you always conscious of your divinity. The next one, which is fifth, it is called sloth. Sloth, or you can say in Sanskrit, the name of this obstacle is alasya. We discussed mental laziness. Now this alasya is the physical laziness. So physical laziness, how this sloth comes? It is because of the heaviness of the body and restlessness of our mind, both. And because of this heaviness or inertia feeling in the body, one loses interest in pursuing a spiritual life. It is the inertia of the body and mind both, whereas dhyana was only mental laziness, procrastination. So inertia is a tamasic state which can be due to physical exertion or tamasic food. If we eat too much food, more than what we require, then body becomes more heavy, and we cannot do any spiritual practice, whether it is japa, reciting the mantra, or it is the practice of meditation. So good thing is that we need to be free from this inertia. And for that, it is said that we have to first think that what are the different causes we can figure out which can create this physical sloth or physical inertia, alasya. Physical inertia is or domination of tamasic quality. So this is because of tamasic nature. Sometimes we eat tamasic food. Tamasic means the food which you take more time for digestion. The food should be digested within less than 24 hours, I would say. If the food remains in the intestine for a long time, then it creates toxins and you feel more heaviness in the body, and thereby your meditation is affected. Watching obscene things also creates physical inertia because your mind becomes more dull, body becomes more dull. Sometimes vulgar or ugly thoughts, negative, very negative thoughts, they also cause you alasya or this inertia. Then mental enjoyment of sense objects means physically one may not be indulged, but mentally one enjoys the sense objects in the world. So that also is the cause of creating inertia in the body. However, the remedy is proper and balanced diet, disciplined lifestyle, increasing willpower through spiritual practice. It is said that in Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, verse number 40, नेहाभिक्रमनाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पम अप्यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्. In this spiritual path, there is no loss of effort, nor is there fear of contrary result. Even a little practice of this discipline saves one from terrible fear of birth and death. So a little practice of this discipline, which discipline? So Lord Krishna also has taught Kriya Yoga, and he practiced Kriya Yoga. So by practicing Kriya, even a little practice will make you free from the fear of birth and death. That means it can make you free from this karmic cycle. The sixth obstacle which we face very often is the avirati. Avirati is a very beautiful word. The English meaning is craving for sense pleasure. Restraining the mind to be introverted and still keeping desire suppressed without proper understanding brings a revolution within. Means what we are trying to achieve in practice of yoga, we are restricting our mind. We are introverting the mind through our practice, and desires are still there. So we try to suppress the desire, but suppressing the desire without proper understanding, we get revolt from our mind. Because without understanding, if we try to force some discipline on our body, our senses and mind both, they will revolt. So we have to use vivek or discrimination. Suppose the mind goes to enjoy some specific sweet, and this sweet is not good for your health. You can eat a little, but more and more every day if you are eating, definitely your health will be not good. So here you need to use your viveka discrimination that this sweet is not good for conducive for my health and practice. So I should avoid it or I should take little. But mentally, we are not prepared for our discipline and our mind goes for enjoying some sense objects. So that is called avirati. Now, mind craves pleasure and enjoyment. That is the nature of mind to remain busy with. Mind wants diversion. Practicing the art of discrimination and detachment, vivek and vairagya, with proper self-analysis helps to overcome this worldly state. Sometimes we are attacked from within through the projection of dark thoughts. Sometimes negative thoughts will come. But you are cleaning the mind and memory, and that is called manashuddhi, chitta shuddhi, purification of mind, purification of memory. And here we need to understand this word, which is very interesting, avirati. So I'll explain what is avirati, why it is called avirati. Rati means attachment. Rati means attachment. V means viparit. That means to detach. So virati means detachment. And if you put a means also not. So two negatives become one positive in mathematics. So avirati means, suppose you have controlled your sense organs. First, they are attached to some sense objects. You have controlled them with your practice. So you have achieved good control. And then again, if the mind goes back to those sense enjoyment, then it is called avirati. Means you have achieved some control, but it goes back. Reverse the situation. So it happens because of unripe detachment. Sometimes we feel that we are detached, we have followed vairagya, but our detachment or dispassion is not ripen. So when it is unripe, the sense organs go back to their old habits. And this is called avirati, which happens very often. Sometimes people achieve really good height, good state in spiritual life, and then again they fall down because the senses bring them back to sense enjoyment in the world. Now, what is the remedy? Proper self-analysis. Every day it is good to do some self-inquiry that what is my goal? Where am I? I am connected with God all the time. If we do not do self-analysis, then again we think about other things in the world and it can bring us back. More sincere efforts are needed, and then surely grace of God helps us to be free from this worldly pull and push by the sense objects. So this is avirati. Then next is seventh, which is called Bhranti Darshana. Bhranti Darshan means false perception. What is false perception? During spiritual practice, a seeker might experience hallucinations which create the idea that one is perfect, one is advanced, or one is highly evolved. And sometimes people tell, oh, I have attained samadhi. Samadhi is far away. But sometimes we get hallucinated that we have attained really higher state of consciousness, we have attained samadhi even. Or sometimes we feel that we get some experience and we are very advanced in our spiritual practice. It can be hallucination, bhranti darshana, false perception. In this case, the mind gets sidetracked. So regular prayer and cultivation of humility is very essential. Sometimes a student tell that they have already attained paravastha without practicing certain techniques in Kriya. That means there are set of techniques given. So without practicing the technique, they just reach silent meditation and feel they are meditating nicely. But our masters always have recommended that still practice the techniques. Don't leave them whether you like or dislike. Sometimes even you feel that you have already achieved the paravastha or silent meditation state beyond body mind, but still you should not skip the techniques. Otherwise, slowly the mind becomes more and more habitual of this skipping, and it becomes a habit not to practice technique. And then in the long run, we are not able to meditate. So this, why it happens, Bhranti Darshan? It is in Vedanta, we call it Viparya Jnana, false knowledge. The regular prayer and cultivating humility are the best remedy for false perception, this problem or this obstacle. Sometimes temptation also come. During meditation, you may be tempted by many good experiences. And in those cases, your personal God, like if you love divinity in any form, so that is your personal chosen form of deity. So that will protect you from temptations. When you pray inwardly, you will be free from temptations. With patience and perseverance, you will be able to cross the void of darkness during meditation and reach the radiant light through the grace of God. The next problem or obstacle, eighth, it is called lack of concentration. What is this lack of concentration? Alabdha bhumikatva. Despite practice, if one cannot achieve substantial progress, then a person may feel frustrated and lose interest. And it brings irregularity in practice. Because when we are for many years practicing and sometimes we feel that there's not substantial progress, then what happens? We feel very frustrated. I have already invested so many years, but I have not achieved anything. So we lose our interest and we do not continue the practice. So the regularity of practice is affected. So it is called lack of concentration, means not able to focus on the goal. And this is alabdha bhumikatva. Bhumi means the ground. So we are not able to firmly remaining at that ground where we are supposed to. And during this spiritual practice, there are miscellaneous thoughts and ideas of duty also come, as we discussed before. It is surprising that so long as we are not doing any spiritual practice or thinking of pursuing any spiritual path, no such idea of duty, etc., ever bother us. And most likely, we are very indifferent and even negligent towards our duties or our relatives. Sometimes our parents may be daily urging us to find out some job or do some work or do some specific activity to support the family. But we don't pay any attention. We turn a deaf ear and then enjoying our parties or restaurants. But when the question of spiritual practice comes, the mind begins to say, oh, you have duties towards your family. So all these ideas occur only now when you take the path of meditation. And just when you seek to enter the path, the mind will create all these ideas of duties, responsibilities, important undertaking, etc., which never bothered us before. So what is the solution? Remember, you have different duties at different times. But to do your practice for self-realization is the most important and urgent duty. And this duty is present throughout your life, right up to the last moment. That's why you should not postpone or delay it even for a single moment. Let this idea be firm in our mind. So let us start regular and systematic practice. Let us think about the highest goal of self-realization in our life. And to complete this goal in life, Paramahansa Yoganandaji said, everything can wait except God realization. So never compromise with meditation. Sometimes during meditation, fear comes when you feel as if you are going to leave the body. And there you need to pray to the masters. So the guru or masters will make you free from this fear. But just to assure you that God never wants you to leave the body when you are meditating, and he will send you back. When we sit for meditation, lots of thoughts come to mind. Thoughts are like clouds. They come to us, but they do not belong to us. Every thought comes from outside and then it appears on the lake of mind. It remains for a few seconds and it will go away. It will not remain all the time. There is no possibility of thought creating within, because thoughts come from the memory, and memory is the bank which we make after experiencing this world through sense organs. So they are recorded. If there is no word we know, or if we have no knowledge of any object, the thought related to that object will not come to mind. However, meditation is a purifying process to reach our goal of God realization. Suppose we are pouring water in a cup which is unused for a long period of time. It has some dust particles inside and outside. As we pour water, the impurities overflow. And when we continue pouring water in the cup, all the dust particles flow out. And after some time, only pure water remains in the cup. The same thing happens in meditation. Thoughts will come and go. But you should continue your practice like pouring water. And after a particular time, there will be no thought and mind will be completely tranquil. So practice regularly with deep love as masters have done. Shri Gurudev, Baba Hariharanandaji, he used to say, if negative thoughts come to you during the meditation time, so first he said, return it to God, because all thoughts come from God. So you can return it, means pray that, oh God, I don't need these type of thoughts. Please take these thoughts back. And second solution, when thoughts are bothering you, because these create more turmoil, second recommendation is be the witness. Like you're watching the car and other traffic sitting in your porch. You are here, but you're just watching. That is how you're in meditation and you just watch. Be observer. Whatever thoughts are coming and going, and this traffic will slowly disappear with your regular practice. So this is the 8th obstacle in the path of yoga, which is alabdha bhumikatva. If you read Sri Guruji's commentary on Yoga Sutra Patanjali, you'll find the explanation about the 7 stages of samadhi or stages of your progress, which are from Yoga Vasishtha. So that is bhumi. So you reach certain stage, but you come back. However, alabdha bhumikatva or lack of concentration. So opposite and impure impressions in the mind are the cause, or fickleness of the mind causes this lack of concentration. So more regular and sincere practice should be followed, and set and always remember the highest goal of samadhi so that your mind will not be in any other thought. The next one is ninth, which is the last obstacle in this sutra. It is called instability and unsteadiness. Even achieving some progress, people cannot maintain it. Regularity in practice and continuous awareness helps a person to be stable and steady in spiritual life. Sometimes, as I said, that the 7 stages of samadhi mentioned in Yoga Vasishtha. So a person achieves, let's say, first stage. It comes easily after regular practice of few years. Let's say Shubhecha. Shubhecha Samadhi means the seeker always thinks of doing something good. Shubha Ichha means noble thoughts. So there is no, in the entire creation, this person has no negative thought. All the time doing good, all the time thinking of some noble things for entire creation. So this stage, then further stage comes like that. You can you can read it in the commentary by Sri Guruji on Yoga Sutra Patanjali in detail. But what happens, we reach there and after some time, few months or few years, our minds comes back. So unsteadiness, this is alabdha bhumikatva, and after that it is the last, which is called the ninth obstacle, which is anavasthitattvani. Anavasthit. So these are the chitta vikshepa, 9 obstacles on the path of meditation or path of yoga. These are only obstacles which we face, but there are some other associated obstacles. And what are those which are associated with these 9? So Sage Patanjali has explained further distractions accompanying obstacles. So this is the next one where Sage Patanjali is telling the sutra number 31. What does it say? It says, Dukkha dormanasya angame jayatva shwasa prashwasa vikshepa sahabhuvaha. So there are 4: pain or suffering, second despair, tremor in the body, and fourth is shwasa prashwasa vikshepa, means irregular inhalation and exhalations. These are the companions of mental distraction. So when we are practicing, we can face some of the 9 obstacles, but they are also associated with some of these, with their 4: pain, despair, tremor in the body, and irregular breathing. What is the explanation? Sri Lahidi Mahasaya said that the companions of mental distraction are described as 3 types of afflictions. So what are these 3 types of afflictions? In our life, the suffering, afflictions or pain, it is caused because of 3 reasons. They are known as adhyatmika suffering, adhibhautika, and adhidaivika. Adhyatmik means where is the origin? These kind of suffering, adhyatmik means proceeding from bodily and mental causes within oneself. Our negative thoughts, our negative karma, our wrong lifestyle. So whatever we do through our body and mind, and we suffer. So this is adhyatmik. The second is bhuta nimitta adhibhautika. Adhibhautik means related to created beings. So it is because of the other beings or nature. Suppose mosquito bites and we get sick. A violent tiger attacks and we suffer. So it is from outside, from other bhuta, other living beings. Then third suffering comes, which is called adhidaivika. Adhidaivik means daiva nimitta. It is proceeding from the divine or supernatural agencies. Suppose there is earthquake or there is flood. So we suffer due to these. This is Adhi Bhautika. So in short, we can say that Adhi Adhyatmika, it is because of the supernatural agencies which are not in our hand. So along with the restlessness of mind, perspiration and irregular breathing and these suffering. So these four are associated with 9 obstacles. So we eliminate these, and being desireless, one should be established in samadhi. So what are these four? I'll tell a little bit more. Suffering, as we discussed, there are 3 types of suffering in which a person can face in life. Because life is a playground of pleasure and pain. They come in turn. These sufferings are due to physical and mental imbalances that cause disease, or to other living beings like insects or bugs and snakes, or even the external element like rain, flood, lightning, earthquakes, and cyclones. So, Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik, Adi Daivik, 3 types of suffering. If you remember that when we begin any class or any spiritual practice, a ceremony, and when we finish it, we always chant some peace invocation mantra. And at the end of peace invocation mantra, we say 3 times, Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. So why 3 times? Because of these 3 types of suffering, Adhyatmik, Adhibhautik, and Adhidaivika. They should be pacified. So for this, we say 3 times Shanti, peace, peace, peace. So suffering, this is associated with the obstacles. Then second is despair. On the spiritual path, one might lose hope, one feel dejected, which brings stagnation in spiritual evolution. It happens that we practice for a good period of time and sometimes we lose hope. Nothing is happening. I'm not progressing at all. We feel sometimes dejected because we expect something and we are not able to achieve it. We expect that our master will pay attention to us, but he is not looking at us. It is our own mental projection actually which is creating this despair. Losing hope also, I'll tell you one interesting thing. It's very common with disciples I have found that they feel, oh, sometimes they're not progressing. But let me tell you that in mathematics, when we start making a graph, so when we start from 0, 0, x-axis and y-axis. So when we start from 0, 0, so our graph is moving like this upward. And a time comes when it goes straight instead of moving up straight. And then sometimes we feel we are going down. Our progress is slow or we are not progressing at all. But this is not true. If you compare where you are today, when you started and where are you today. So you'll see you're not at 0, 0 point. You already have covered some distance and time. You already have progressed. And let me assure you all that in every single breath you are taking in and out, you are evolving. There is progress. And very often when we practice some spiritual discipline, in the beginning, the changes or progress we can see physically, it is on our face, it is manifested. But mostly the progress is happening or transformation is taking place on the causal and subtle plane, which is not visible to us. However, another problem associated or obstacle associated is tremor in the body. In the course of regular practice, when the state of inner calmness comes, body experiences steadiness, but after a while in that state, one might feel tremors or shakiness in the body or unusual sweating, bringing distraction. So this is tremors in the body, it is obstacle. Body should be totally steady and we should go beyond body consciousness. So with regular practice and grace of guru or master, we can overcome that. Irregular breathing is another one. Breath is the key to calmness and inner peace. Through regular practice of breathing, pranayama, the mind becomes tranquil. The breath becomes so feeble that it will move only in the nasal passage, which is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. But irregular breathing sometimes appear with inner imbalance, even when you are practicing for many years and if the mind is disturbed, distracted, dejected. Your breath is irregular even when you are practicing, it's not easy. So these four, suffering, despair, tremor in the body, irregular breathing, these are the four external visible states of restlessness and distraction. In the next sutra, Sage Patanjali is mentioning about what should we do? What should be our attitude as a seeker? So he's telling in the sutra number 32, Tat pratishedhartham eka tattva abhyasaha. For their removal, means these 9 obstacles associated with 4 external visible obstacles. What should we do? To eliminate them and to prevent them, these obstacles, one should follow intense practice of one truth or principle, eka tattva. Abhyasa means to practice. Continuously practice. What to practice? Eka tattva. If you want to get rid of these obstacles, eka tattva. Now what is eka tattva? So eka tattva, eka means single, tattva means principle. Lahiri Mahasaya said, to eliminate all those, one should follow the path of practice with focused attention, ekagra chitta, eka chitta, one pointed attention. The practice of attaining concentration is the first step. And it takes time. When we meditate, it takes time to achieve the state of concentration even. That is why Kriya techniques are so easy to introvert the mind and then completely elevate the consciousness and go beyond body and mind. The very scientific techniques which help comparatively to any other path which I have experienced. So first, the practice of attaining concentration is the first step. The restless mind cannot reflect the beauty of divine, just as the stormy lake cannot reflect the beauty of the moon. Along with the practice of concentration, one should try to be always conscious of the one truth. What is one truth? So everything should be one. The concept of practice was described like in Yoga Sutra before. It is said, Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tat Nirodha means continuous practice and detachment. One should be established in the spiritual field. Practice brings perfection. It is otherwise known as effort. In spite of repeated failure, a seeker of truth never loses hope. Now, important word here is eka tattva. Eka means one, single. Tattva means principle or truth. So, eka tattva is the reality of creation, the reality of life. In the Holy Bible, Gospel of John, 8th chapter, passage number 32, Jesus said, then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. The truth of living is breath. So what is Eka Tattva in terms of yoga practice? The truth of living is breath. The truth behind each breath is the hidden divinity, unmanifest everywhere. It is the nature of every person. So trying to experience who am I in a contemplative and concentrated manner and practicing a spiritual discipline in daily life are the core elements of all success. So Eka Tattva Abhyasa, I'll tell two things. Eka Tattva means one God, one master, one path, one practice. So all one. There is no more confusion, no more diversion. Then you will reach the goal without, and you can overcome these obstacles in your life very easily. Then second is Eka Tattva. Tattva is the principle, breath is the principle. So all the time, remember God in every breath. This is Eka Tattva Abhyasa, which says Patanjali is telling, never forget your breath because breath is God. However, we can discuss in more and more detail about these, but in general, to give some idea, we discussed these are 9 obstacles associated with 4 external symptoms or obstacles. Let us practice sincerely. Let us follow the path, whichever path we have accepted, whoever we have accepted as our guide or teacher. Practice Eka Tattva. Be faithful, practice sincerely, and reach the goal of your life. Obstacles are natural. Nothing is smooth. The obstacles come on our way to test our strength. With prayer, continuous practice, we can overcome these obstacles. Let us close the eyes. May all become happy and healthy, loving, noble, and compassionate. May there be no suffering, no sorrow, no disease. May there be more love, peace, and harmony within, everywhere, and in this entire creation. Om Tat Sat Om. I bow to Sage Patanjali, all the masters, and I bow to live in presence of God in each one of you. Thank you.